Oh no, no. Are we live?
We have audio, we have video. We're good.
Okay.
I love your background, man. Where'd you get that from?
Uh I created that. Oh, let me stop. How you stop share? Can you see my this looks awful. Let me get out of that. Okay. Uh I'll talk about that later on, but that's kind of my tribute to the class of 75. Oh, what is that? You changed
Um,
or you changed the system? You went
well,
to
I went to screen sharing. You wanted to screen share, right?
we can do that later on.
Oh, okay. Well, I just want it available.
Oh, I think when you did it, we did it last time. You were doing the share, both of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess let's do it.
Okay. Well, unless you've been in a cave for the last 60 years, there's no way you don't recognize the Kanakanui Michael Crabbe. And I'm connecting with him in the PNW, Pacific Northwest, right?
Nice, nice. I like how you said that because I have been in Oregon after leaving California. That brought me to the mainland after our 10th year reunion, 5 days after our 10th year reunion, and was in California for many years before looking for brighter pastures and a little bit slower way of life from the California life in.
Well, let's get your starting point. What grade you started Kamehameha?
I started Kamehameha in third grade,
So
and
almost a lifer.
uh, I'd like to say I was a lifer, but because I grew up with all, the Grayling Nachus, the Doug Panees, Capu de Silvas, all of them back then. I think I came in after Pokey Ellis. He came second grade, I think. Um, and I came in third grade from Marino School. Uh, all of our family, all seven of us went to Marino School. So I came there. Emmett Kalai, by the way, FYI, also came from Marino School as well, because our Marino kids sent me the first grade picture, and Emmett Kalai and I were in the same class. I'm looking at your face, Kermit, because you have this blank like Emmett Kalai.
No, I want to ask, is he still with us?
Emmett is still with us. He's somewhere on the windward side. Last I heard years ago, he was working for some kind of cable company. I don't know if he's still doing that, but he's still around, as are a number of our other classmates, and we can get into that later on.
Well, you popped in with Capo de Silva. That's another one that
Yeah.
I
Uh,
haven't seen or heard in
well,
decades. So,
I believe she's passed. She passed a long time ago.
oh, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
quite a long time ago. She was, I think, involved with the Kamehameha Schools Bishop Estate land, uh, land commissioner or something, managing that for Kamehameha Schools. So she was directly tied to our school.
Yeah. So you've been in Pacific Northwest how long?
Uh, from 2000. What brought me to the Pacific Northwest really was the Kamehameha Schools alumni. You might remember this gentleman named Benny Medina. I think our freshman year, he says, what was his famous words? We will not lose, or he was he said something like that in his song contest speech, and he regretted that. But anyway, um, he brought me to the Pacific Northwest because at that time, for about 5 years, I was producing all of Kelly E. Reichel's concerts on the mainland, on the West Coast. Um, Luckily, fortunately, just by pure luck and sheer determination, I was able to bring Kelly E. to the Pacific North, I mean, to Southern California. in 1995. Um, I, along with a fellow Molokai boy, Dean Chow, who was part of our Ehula Mau Namamo committee. At that time, I was producing this hula competition in Southern California, and I wanted to have a big concert after the competition. As luck would have it, we actually had another big name group, and I can't mention their name, but they had three guys playing on their group. Um, Ended up canceling, so I ended up calling. Luckily, got a hold of Keli'i Reichel and um, was able to bring him up for that first year in 1995. Then he came back and did another concert for me in 1999. And
Right
so,
on.
so then Benny Medina gets a hold of me, the Kamehameha Schools alumni in Portland with Michel Apo. Remember that name? Michel Apo Ducheto. He had asked me if I would bring up Keli'i Reichel. I actually had to fly up. I had to sit down with the entire community because Kelly was a little ambivalent about coming because, usually you're going to San Francisco, LA, Seattle, big top tier cities. But, when I called him, he said, Portland? And I said, don't worry about it. We got it. We got it, But brought him up here to the Pacific Northwest, Portland, Arlene Schnitzer Concert Hall, the only Hawaiian artist that sold out the Arlene Schnitzer Concert Hall ever.
Wow.
20, 23, 2,500 people. If you can get 1,000 people in that auditorium, that's fantastic. But what really helped us out was my secret weapon was Seattle. Seattle was where everybody came from. Um, Keli'i Reichel didn't know that, but I had a lot of friends from the Seattle area, and I knew they would come down if they knew Keli'i was in Portland, and sure enough, they did. And it was Michelle was there. There was like no room in the lobby during intermission before or after the concert. I've never seen a concert like that ever. Um, it was incredible. It was I have here written Big Love. It was like Big Love, which is kind of like our class theme. It was like Big Love in the Pacific Northwest times 10. It was unreal.
That's awesome, man.
So and that was working with the Kamehameha alumni up here. Um, Pokey put together the Big Love tour in 2023, right? Is that right? 2023. Pokey had been working on this for years, and he had asked me to help out here. I told him I would help down in Portland, and I told him call Patrick Choi up in Seattle. Patrick did a fantastic job. I didn't get up there, but you guys did, and you can talk a little bit about that and fill in for people who didn't make it on that tour. But you came down on the train. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then we hooked up with Stephanie, and we went running around driving out to the coast, and then the day before we went to the uh, uh, tulip farms down in Woodburn. Had a fun time seeing everybody, and I'm trying to remember names from that. Marilyn Ulu, Terry Spencer, uh, Pool came up
Carolyn.
from Pool came up from Southern California. Ronell, Corey, a whole bunch of people. We had a good time, yeah. Yeah, it was a great time. Thank you for driving out to the coast, Kermit.
Well, I love that format because it allowed so much participation. Whenever you were available, you just catch up with whoever was already on the train, or, you know, you come on for the part that your calendar allowed you to join. So that was
And
neat.
as luck would have it, the day or two before you guys arrived, I saw this big post with a friend of mine who had a restaurant or something like that. I texted Pokey and I said, instead of going up to the wine thing in the gorge, you might consider this because they got Hawaiian music and they got Hawaiian food right there. And change of plans. When they arrived, I think that Monday night, or I forgot whatever night it was, everybody ended up going down to that restaurant. Did you go with them to that?
The Korean place?
No, no, not that one. 2 days before that.
Oh no.
Yeah. Uh, so they ended up going there, and it ended up they were. Oh, my friend Khalil Titcomb was playing music, and there was a video clip of Marilyn Kaohi dancing, and
Oh, okay. Well, I know what you're
that
talking about. Yeah,
yeah, you remember that?
Steven took me over there. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Marilyn told me, "Oh my God, Michael, I've never danced before in my life," and that's the first time I guess you got up and danced in front of our classmates of all things. No pressure, no pressure. So I missed that night, but then caught up with everybody on the next day to the tulip farm. That was wonderful. That was an all-day thing. Let's see, some names that you haven't heard for a while: Cheryl Chang Robbins, right?
Robin
Cheryl,
Donlin.
no, no, Cheryl Chang Robbins. That's her name, married name.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
then Karen Lum Stein.
Was she the one
Karen,
with the white hair now?
she has hair. She has
Okay.
hair. It could be white, it could be dark, but we won't bet. Salt and
No,
pepper nowadays.
I mean like
Yeah, yeah,
yours. It's
yeah,
very.
yeah. Um, so anyway, some of those people showed up from our area. Steven showed up. Um, actually, Steven lives not too far from me here in Vancouver, Washington.
Oh, okay.
So Steven and I used to pally up in high school all together. We were like peanut butter and jelly. And he talked about I saw. By the way, these podcasts uh, nuggets are unbelievable, and I've heard from a number of other classmates who just are enamored by the content that is coming out, like real time live, speaking off the cuff, seeing people like Kalani Ching, which I haven't seen since high school. And I'm just uh, for those who are out there who haven't been for a while, this happened to us at the 40th, because I think on that class night when I went on stage, I kind of looked out, and something struck me, and I was kind of like awestruck when I said, tonight's going to be really special, because I looked out there and saw people we hadn't seen from high school. People like Bernard Guzman, people like Sterling Altagonde, right? People like Ronald Huddy, you know. Uh, I just saw people out there that we hadn't seen for, at that time, 40 years.
Is that the same video that I happened upon that I
Yes,
loaded?
yes,
That was our 40th?
yeah, that was our 40th.
Okay.
And I want to shout out good friend of ours, of our class. Actually, he was uh, uh, honorary classmate of class of 75, was Randy Fukino, class of 74. I wouldn't have made that video if it weren't for all of the pictures and videos that he sent to me.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I was talking to Reiko afterwards, or he told me, he said, if you want these, I could send it. So he sent me all of those, candid pictures, and I kind of slapped that together to just kind of, I was looking at it last night, Kermit. Thanks for finding it, because I forgot entirely that I had done that video. But my God, 15 minutes of seeing faces. I had to stop and go, oh my God, what's her name? Oh, and but you know what? If you want to try to recall people's names and faces, that's the video to go see.
There was a lot of people that ended up, on screen or whatever you want to call it.
I would say I'm about 80%. It's dropped down from 95% down to like 80% of trying to match names with faces. But um, I think you posted that in the group chat last night. Yes.
Yeah, because I'm working on in the future when I have time. I started a little bit this morning, but apparently we have quite a few classmates who are not Facebook users.
Oh, sure.
So I'm trying to find a YouTube home for all these videos I've been recording. So,
You gotta name your channel. You're
and
gonna call it.
that's how I happened upon
Oh,
the other one because I was searching KS75 classmates and that popped up
oh, interesting. So, wow.
because our Facebook page is called KS75 classmates. So
And we actually have another one. I'm not too sure whose it was. I don't know if it was mine or somebody else's, but I guess that's our main page right now. So anyway, I was going to actually pull a switcheroo on you because everybody's been asking about doing your video. So I think what we'll do is we'll do that later on, Kermit. Everybody wants to find out about where you're from and what you've been doing. I mean, last I recall, Kermit, when I was down in Southern California, I think we had talked back then. I thought you were in Texas. Is that right?
I was from 81 to about 94, 95.
Oh, okay, okay. That's where I had you, and then all of a sudden you're in Minnesota. I was like, what? What?
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll cover that later on. Life is good. Life is good up here in the Pacific Northwest. I came up to the Pacific Northwest because I had this epiphany in Southern California that life was just getting so crazy. I was caught up in the Hawaiian community. Um, we had our our uh, our community Hawaiian Community Club Pua Ober was part of that. The Dean Chow from Molokai, of course, and a lot of other Kamehameha kids as well. Corey Stockoff from class of 77 and a number of other Kamehameha kids, kind of like we're the core of our little group, Namamo.
Now, Dean Chow was living in California then, or
Yes, he was, and he was actually my chiropractor. When I got into an accident down there, I went to him for treatment and therapy. So, but being in the community, being involved in all that, I felt like I was getting kind of pulled every which way. Um, that's a really tough community to be in. I enjoyed it while I was there. I loved it while I was there, but you got to have some tough cojones to be in a community like that with all of the people and legacies of people who Hawaiians who've moved away from the Hawaii to the continent, like my uncle who had been there for decades, and then get kind of planted in the community and then being a leader, amongst all of those people. So one thing I did learn from Kamehameha is manners, integrity, and I don't know, being very, very, very Pauahi, being humble and all that, because there were times where I had to confront the community because some people got a little out of hand, and sometimes you gotta address people like our kupuna in a very humbling way, um, which was almost unspoken of, but I don't know, you gotta be imua and I kind of stood my ground, spoke my piece, and people understood. I had to address a lot of people, especially the kupuna. And here we are, Kermit. We're the kupuna right now.
yeah, yeah,
How fast the time has gone by, Kermit.
yeah. You and I both went to Willamette that first year, and did you end up graduating from there?
I did. I did.
Okay, with a degree in what?
Sociology.
Okay.
And we and I, just to make it clear, because I saw a couple of versions of how many people were at Willamette. There were actually 9 of us. You
Okay.
go first, and then I'll fill in the rest of everybody. I'll name the 9 of us that went there our freshman year.
Okay. Yourself, me,
Okay.
Doug Duvachel, Marilyn, Sean and Keith.
Mm-hmm.
Abby? No, not
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Abby went. Okay.
Yes.
Uh,
Darlin Taruya. Darlin Taruya.
okay. Okay.
There's eight. Did you say Doug Duvercel?
Yeah.
Okay, who's the ninth one? Who's
You.
nine? No, no, no. You said me already.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the girls were Abby, Crystal,
Crystal
Marilyn.
is 9.
Oh, Crystal. Oh, Crystal. Yeah, there's your ninth.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Because when somebody said seven, or eight, I'm like, no, there were nine. Um, for sure. So we got all of them. Crystal too.
Okay. So 9 was the official count because
Nine was the official count, and that was, I believe, one of the largest classes that went to a school from our class our senior year, or yeah, from Kamehameha 75. And we all hung out there. We had the Hawaiian Club on campus. Um, Leanne Stender was president that year, and I got railroaded into vice president from from uh, the Bain brothers, Danny Bain, Rodney Bain, Ron Perry, all the OGs, and it was not a democracy. You're vice president. Oh, what about your vice president? Okay, great. Yeah, down there. So that was part of the reason why I came back to the Pacific Northwest, because my auntie Lay Sikera and Uncle Wendy Sikera. Uncle Wendy was the coach of the Willamette football team. Tommy Lee was the head coach. Uncle Wendy was in charge of the backs. Um, but I became very, very, very close to Auntie Lay, who was like my mom up here. Um, so that was really nice. When I came back up here, it was nice to kind of connect with my cousin Jimmy, Pua, and Petey. They were like Calabash cousins to me. So, and that Kamehameha connection, of course, strong.
yeah, it was there was a lot of Hawaii kids for the population of that school being what it was. I mean, I was surprised.
That school was high on my list, and actually, I had decided I was going to Willamette my junior year. I was ready to leave Kamehameha my junior year. I was just getting star crazy at home, and I was like, I had been in touch with my big sisters, Wendy Kalahiki, Debbie Cleaver, and Bobby Lyman. I was communicating with them, and we were remember back then we had pen pals, we had letters. People don't know what letters are nowadays. It's email, but we had handwritten letters, and I was communicating with that. So um, that's what brought me to Willamette. Mr. Buzz Yoakam came to Kamehameha schools and did uh, a little college thing, and I was already sold on Willamette. I just didn't want to go to a big school like UCLA with 35,000 people, and I really loved it. But then life on the mainland is so much different in Salem, Oregon, as I got to find out later on. So that's part of living and learning on the mainland.
Yeah. Cleaver was a big reason I ended up going to Willamette. So
See? Yeah. So I don't know if people who see this now, they go, what is that? Big sister, big, but that was really big in our days. I don't know if you still felt that, but I had a lot of connections like that. So the same way they were to me was I was to other up and coming kids behind us. So big influence on going to Willamette in
yeah.
Salem, Oregon.
Well, Kamehameha kind of fostered mentoring, negative and positive. I mean, when we were freshmen, I don't know how much dirt I ate because seniors thought it was funny or just wanted me to, and but along the same lines, I had guys who showed me the ropes and taught me things and kept me alive. So it was like, yeah, I remember passing that on. And I don't know if it would be different between boarder and day student, but I think everybody kind of accepted the mentoring role that we automatically stepped into, you know.
I heard you on one of the other podcasts. I'm not too sure who it was, but I heard you say the social aspect, right? That that was a learning curve that I think everybody had to sort of embrace, either embrace it or, life was going to be a challenge. So I realized that my freshman year. Having come up from grade school, then intermediate, and then going into the high school thing, wow, it was like going from Kapiolani to like H1, and everything was going fast, and like, I felt like I got lost like my freshman year trying to find myself. And there were a lot of people who were there, but the social aspect, I won't get deep into those weeds, but I think Kamehameha, like you said, positive, or hopefully not negative, but you learn from the negative. Um, it really taught me how to find myself, find my place, find where I fit. You know, something funny, my our 10-year reunion. Were you there at the 10-year?
Is that the officers club thing?
Yes, yes,
Okay, yeah, I was
yeah,
there.
yeah. And the reason why I remember the 10-year because of your mom was in your mom came to all the events. I think your mom was hilarious, but um at the 10-year one, we were at the Princess Kailani for the big class night gala, I think Friday night. And a couple of classmates walked in, and I was by the door, and some of them said, "Oh, this is Michael Crabbe. He was the president of our class." And I'm like, "No, no, no, I was never president of our class ever." I think our president was Pokey Ellis. Did you remember? Pokey Ellis was president. That's all I remember. Or was it Kalena Yim? Kalena Yim. Sorry, Kalena Yim. Now that's a name I hope we can track down. He's out there, Glenn Yim. Glenn, if you're listening to this, bro, you got to make it. Kalena was our class president. Um, and as a matter of fact, I think even my senior year, uh, Jermaine Thompson,
Oh
he's,
wow.
Jermaine Thompson and I were the two class reps, right? Then we had our class leaders, and then we had the Kamehameha leadership class, which kind of spearheaded a lot of the activities that we did. Um, and I thought I would mention Mrs. Myers, Janet Myers, our class counselor. In one of our leadership classes, she came up with this idea called the Mayfair. And it was like, oh, okay. So tell me more. And she said she wanted to, do this function, and she wanted to make it a school thing. So the challenge was there was ASHU, or the student body organization that had all the monies to fund all of the class events and all that. But we had to propose a $5,000, allocation from the school fund, and it was met with a lot of trepidation in terms of, should we get it? Can we get it? And I was kind of like, of course we're going to get it, but um, there were a lot of, how would I say, high tensions between classes back then. Um, but we ended up getting the funding for that event. We put it together. I think at that time there was some kind of big event on uh, being going around the nation at that time, and it was kind of like an obstacle course kind of thing. So I saw that on TV or saw it somewhere, and thought that would be a cool thing to insert as an activity. And so we started the Mayfair that year in 74, 75. We involved the intermediate, the grade school. We had a band that came up, and then we got the Sons of Hawaii, Eddie Kamai and the Sons of Hawaii. We had a stage up there on Konia Field, right by the girls' auditorium, and it ended up being a fundraiser for all the classes. So to this day, from that one event came later on the evolution of the Ho'olaulea. So class of 75, come on now, people, give us some love. We were pioneers back then. Little did we know, because back in those days they had the Carnival, Kamehameha Carnival. You know, that was the only fundraiser they had on tape, but it was for the school, I believe. So this Mayfair turned into Ho'olaulea, which is a fundraiser. And so our fundraiser for that year was to fund us getting our blazers, our ties, and the girls' senior dresses. So that was kind of like turned out to be a great thing for the school.
It just clicked for me. I've been looking at it over and over again. Your helmet is reversed. It says Imua on there.
Yes.
I kept
Can you
looking
see
at
it?
going, I can see it, but all this time I've been going, Aumi, Aumi. What is Aumi?
Oh, you know what's funny? Last night I tested it, and when I put it up so you're reading it reverse.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Your shirt is correct,
yeah,
but the background is
you know what? So that's something, a Zoom thing that when I did it last night to test it, regular face, it was reversed. So I thought, oh no, I reversed it. So it looks good on my screen here. I see it, but on your screen it's reversed. Oh, so there you go. So that's kind of the logo that we kind of created. It's actually Imua 50. I can't move it around, but uh I can I kind of wanted to do that as a tribute to our class this year because I don't know, this may be my last time coming to a reunion, but I thought I told everybody we got to go out with a bang. Um, so why not? And so I wanted to come up with something that we would remember this year. This is our golden 50th. And 2 years
is that
ago,
is that
huh?
logo printed on anything for us?
As a, Funny you mentioned that because I heard the other day on one of your podcasts that you missed the deadline for the t-shirts or something like that, right?
The ball caps, yeah.
Well, the ball caps. So
Same company, but
yeah. So what we were going to move forward with this project, but things didn't work out. So I thought why not make a second option for those who missed it, like you. I heard that podcast. So we are going to actually now, hopefully, if you can help, we'll drop this issue of interviews soon, so that I'll put the link for this. We have actually T-shirts available as well. And since we're talking about that, well, I want to talk a little bit about the logo itself. I wanted to create a logo, and it's reversed. If you guys are looking at it, that that uh, symbolize Kamehameha schools without saying Kamehameha. So Imua was the only word that came up. For whatever reason, Hawaii 50 was playing that song. I caught it, and then I was thinking Imua 50, Hawaii 50. So that's kind of how the logo sort of took shape. But the story behind this logo is I wanted to bridge, our lifetime. We grew up as young, immature kids. We all went out into the world. We experienced life. We faced challenges. I mean, and that's really kind of my story too. We all had our ups, downs, and here we are, 68 years later. Um, but I wanted to bridge the youth with where we are as the OGs kupuna. So I had tapped the an artist from KL campus, Big Island, who actually created this. And she took the kids nowadays. I don't know if you remember, Kermit. We didn't speak Hawaiian back then or learn Hawaiian so much like the kids are learning today. I heard you even say it on one of your podcasts. We were all college prep, correct? We were all, everything that we did in our curriculum was college prep. Lucky if you took Hawaiian, there were a few people like Charles Kamuela, Kawa, Frank Palani Kahala, who's my hula brother too, who were brave enough to take Hawaiian classes or learn about it. And we have to really nod to all of them because that's the breadth and foundation of our teaching nowadays. So anyway, this girl Koali Ito, who I think is related to You remember Joella Ito in grade school or intermediate?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joella Ito. Somebody uh, put a picture out there. So she created this for us. She's a junior, going to be a senior next year. Did an incredible job, and there are some other renderings. But since we're there, let me hit my share and see if we can pull up. So this is going to be the background for the long sleeve shirt. On the left side is the right sleeve. It'll be the Kamehameha. And if you can see the image there, it's supposed to symbolize Kamehameha's spear, the Ihe. So that's going to be on the right sleeve, the Imo 50 logo. We couldn't use the Hawaii a picture that she had created, so we put the symbol on the back of the shirt, which is Aola o Pawahi.
Okay,
Long live.
none of that is up on the screen. So
You can't see it. Can you
did
see
you
it?
did you initiate your share from your end?
Okay, let me see if share. Oh, there you go. Can you see it now?
It says has started screen sharing, but your
Okay,
screen. Oh, there. We're good.
okay, now you can see it.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Okay, so left to right, the Kamehameha will be on the right sleeve. The second picture is the logo. This looks weird because it looks like a tank top. And then on the back would be Eola o Pawahi, which is long live our beloved Pawahi. And for the class, we put this on the left sleeve, which would be KS75. So this is what it's going to come out today. We'll put the link out there and we'll get it out to people who want to get a t-shirt or a long sleeve, or who missed it like you. And then this is, okay, hold on, let's see. Okay, so this is not the color of the shirt, but this is what it'll look like. Can you see that, Kermit? Can you see
Looks
that?
like a good concept. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is it's actually reversed. So the Kamehameha will be on the right sleeve and the 75 will be in the opposite, but that's the front. And then on the right side is what the back will look like. So that's what that's going to look like as well. And then we're also going to have, this is going to be for the Kamehameha alumni who would like to get a generic shirt without the KS75. So anyway, that's what it's going to look like. That's going to be coming out, and we'll drop the link down there. And let's see, it's only it's going to be limited to only 2 weeks. At least if you want to get your T-shirt before the reunion. And by the way, Kermit, what size are you?
A 2X.
2X. So you know what? I want to do this for you, bro, because you've been doing this with your own time. Uh, this I know this takes a lot of time. I've done this podcasting, broadcasting, and doing it with entertainers, much less from Hawaii. So what I would like to do is to give you the short sleeve shirt, which is kind of what is it? Okay, so let's see. The short sleeve looks, well, that's a long sleeve, but it's basically the short sleeve without the Kamehameha on it. So I like to do that for you, Kermit. uh,
Mahalo.
for doing this for us. So
Mahalo.
I
Thank you.
will. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we're back to normal.
Right on. So are you fully retired, part semi-retired,
I
or
would say semi. I don't think I'll ever retire only because I've got projects on hand here. I'm involved with uh, people on the West Coast and internationally. So that's why it's really kind of hit or miss. So I'm semi. I'd like to be retired, but I don't think I'll ever retire. I call them projects because every time I think I'm done, another one sits on my lap, and I have things on the back burner that are constantly churning over. So, but I'm enjoying it up here in Vancouver, Washington.
and you don't necessarily punch a clock?
No, um, really, I think life for me now is about taking care of myself. And I'll just briefly, in 2017, I had a near fatal incident. Uh, Jeff Noah knows. Jeff was there for me when I was at my lowest. I was hit in a car accident and was nearly killed. Broke my back. Broke my back, and I was in rehab. That was the year we went to Vegas, and Kathy kept calling me saying, and I kept telling her, I don't think I'm in no shape to make it. I barely made it. Um, Took me 8 months to rehab, and I think it was kind of a game day call where I got there thanks to some classmates who helped me get there. Um, but I'm very grateful because uh, I could have been permanently disabled at that point in time. But the point of all that was I was cycling a lot all these years. I went from marathon running to cycling, and the doctor told me if it wasn't for your health, you would be permanently paralyzed. So health has been I've been involved. I call myself a lifestyle athlete because whether it's in high school, I saw Jay Sistrunk, Jay and Mark Sukiyama. We all played on the tennis team. Jay Sistrunk, Mark Sukiyama. I haven't seen him since senior year high school. Claude Chung, I heard you talk about Claude. Claude is now 6'3". He used to be a wrangling mutt in high school. He paired up with Jerry Ahui, who we played in the senior in our tournament, Nanakuli tournament, and I was partnered up with Robert Kikuna, and we played Jerry and Claude, who were the number one seed in the tournament that year. And
Robert Kekuna, is he our classmate?
Robert Kikuna is class of 76. I believe he was an attorney, but he was a lefty. I was the righty, and we were both played singles. We never played doubles during the whole year. But our coach, Mr. Cushing, just kind of slapped us together, threw us in the tournament to fill a void, and we ended up beating everybody going to the finals, and then we played Claude and Jerry in the finals. Our own teammates was Kamehameha versus Kamehameha. We won the team trophy, the doubles trophy. We won everything. It was great.
Awesome, man. And of course, Bernard was on the team somewhere.
I think Bernard won the singles, I believe, in that tournament. That's why Kamehameha swept it. I mean, but we came out of nowhere because, they had Iolani and Punahou and all those other schools, and Bernard was just fantastic. Bernard was always ranked from grade school or mid school all the way up to high school. He was one of the top ranked.
I remember that about him. Yeah, just
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was awesome.
a real prodigy.
Yep, he was. He was. And I gotta thank his parents, the Guzmans, who helped teach us. They were like the assistant coaches for the Kamehameha tennis team.
Did Bernard have siblings that you know of?
Yes. You have to say that they were really close to us because here's the true story. Bernard and I connected in mid intermediate. and their family because of tennis, and oh, it was because of our summer fun where Patty, Patty, Patty Forsyth, Bernard, and I went to Ala Moana Summer Fun. That's how we all connected. Then we played. Then I learned how to play tennis. But we had a love for the ocean, even though he was a prodigy tennis player. Bernard, he loved to go. We used to go paddleboarding, and then Nolan Conjugation lived right down the street, close to where Bernard lived. So Nolan, Bernard used to come to my house. True story. We would get our pipe boards. We would make our own. We would walk from my house in Mo'iliili through towards Iolani, cross the river on that little pipe, cut in through the fence, and walk right through Alawai Golf Course, all the way to Waikiki to board.
You know, that phrase too, or that term, I don't know if today's generation has any idea what a pipe board is.
Oh no, no, that was the original boogie board. When Maury Boogie came in, everybody was like, "That's not a pipe board." But look where it's gone today as a product. The old days we would go down to the old construction site, get some old wood, cut the shape, fiberglass, put your own design on, fiberglass it, boom, you got a board. So Nolan Conjugation, Bernard Guzman and I, we would hit those waves all the time.
Wow.
And I'm still trying to remember. I don't know if this was true or not. I thought that Nolan went to Marino School with me, but I can't verify that. I thought when I went through third grade, I don't know what year Emmett came, but I had thought all three of us had left Marino School, but I don't know. I got to check with Brother No. Um,
Well, I started watching that thing, the documentary on Nolan that you
yeah,
loaded.
right.
Can't remember if he talked about early schooling or
He talked about Pool Lane, but he never mentioned what school. You're correct. So that's why it's kind of a mystery.
yeah, and I haven't finished watching it, so but
Yeah. So,
very
so
interesting, nice production.
yeah, that was a very nice piece on Brother Nolan. And do you know if he's coming?
I don't know. I reached out a couple times, but I just imagine he's so busy that, or I have the wrong number, one of the two. I don't know.
Well, the fact that you can get anybody on this, kudos to you. This has been fantastic.
It's and I learned this from the people I've talked to because it was not my intent, but the ones that are not going to be able to attend
Mhm.
like it because it allows them to participate still.
Well, that's nice, and then it gives everybody a chance. Now, like I got to see most of them. Usually, I only got to about the first 5, maybe 10 minutes. That was the most. But I figured I would save the second half for all of them after the reunion, and then I can catch up with everybody.
Yeah.
Because but it's very interesting. It's fun. It's entertaining. You get a couple of ahas. But I know this year for me, it's going to be pretty historic. So, I'm coming with a lot of bringing as many of our classmates, and some of them are not here with us. So I feel like I want to share and celebrate that. So, and then of course connect with everybody else that we haven't seen for years. But the point is after that 40th year, I remember getting that fateful call from Al Cam the week after the 40th. And he had mentioned to me, because I told everybody, look, we got Sterling Altagonde. Sterling Altagonde went to University of Portland with Steven. And Al calls me a week later after our 40th, told me that Sterling had passed away like 1 week later. So we cannot miss those moments that are so precious and important to each of us. If you can, we'd love to see all of you. If you cannot, then you have the privilege of listening to all of Kermit's broadcasts and catch
Because
up with everybody.
Because the first one that pointed it out to me was Kalani Ching. He approached me saying he wasn't going to be able to attend,
Oh yeah,
but now we get to hear part of his last 50 years and he gets to share it. And then in this way, he can look at some of the others. And the other thing, too, is it's reconnected a couple people who are perhaps close to the people I've talked to in high school
yeah.
and then grown apart. And now they're like, oh, man. And they've reconnected. I put them in touch with each other, you know, just like, man, they haven't talked to each other in probably 40 something years. But, like you talk about you, Bernard, and Nolan
Yeah.
hitting the beach. I mean, now in your adult lives, I mean, when was the last time you even saw Bernard? You
The
said you
40th.
hadn't seen
The
him. Yeah.
40th. Yeah. Kalani Ching played football with us at Kapilani Tigers, at McKinley. He was the right end, I was left end or left out. Um, but Kalani played for us football back then. His dad and I were firemen together. Know the Mr. and Mrs. Ching very, very closely. Uh, True story. One of my companies way back in the late 80s, 90s, or 90s, I should say, Classic Hawaii. Kalani's company, at the time, he was flying helicopters. So part of the things we did was all these add-on activities that we would package together with our travel tours. I call Kalani. He's with one of the companies we work with. I arrange a flight with him, a helicopter flight. I get there. Kalani says, "If you feel the engine pick up," he said, "hang on." And I looked at him. He said, "Just when the speed picks up, hang on." Kalani is doing the tour on the flying up to the, along the coast, Rockies, lava flow and all that. Then all of a sudden, I could feel the helicopter surge, like really pick up, like, my back's up against the seat and I hang on and everybody's looking on the side. They're looking down right and left, but they don't see what's up ahead. I'm looking up what's ahead and I'm going, oh shit. Kalani hits the pedal or just jams it. We go right. It feels like you're going off the cliff. Boom. We go off, and everybody who's looking down, all they see is this big 10,000-foot drop. And everybody, I swear to God, they lost their cheese in the helicopter. And that was Kalani Ching flying that helicopter. I never forget it, but I was thinking, thank God I'm looking up ahead. I didn't look down, but these guys on my right and left, they almost lost it because he picks it up and everybody's heart came right through their throat.
Oh man.
That was the one incident that was so nice to see him. God, Daryl Yasutaki also played with us. I saw Daryl's one. Daryl was funny at the Vegas thing in 2017. We got to see Kevin Garcia back then, Isaac Smith. Pokey folks did that too. By the way, I wanted to shout out people like Pokey, who's been really a stalwart in planning all of our class events all these years. Um, him and all the guys that, used to hang with him and all the guys who helped do our 29th year luau. That was a thing and we also lost Peely in the last year or two. I don't know how long ago it was, but I remember her our luau year. Um, Kathy Chow Fonseca now, who has been our class rep for all these years. She put in a lot of time, effort, and keeping our class together.
Yeah.
And then Kehal Shaler too, as well.
Mike, then
I lost your audio. Let's see. I can't hear. Nine, 20. Not too sure what happened.
Sorry, that was on my end.
Oh, what happened?
I just had to step away for a second so I
Oh, okay. I was gonna
clicked the
call you.
audio button.
That's okay. That's okay. I was entertaining myself, Kermit. I get nervous when I get dead air, like, oh no.
Yeah. So when are you going to Oahu then? Are you going to get there a little early at all, or just in time for the reunion, or what?
I'm planning to get there on Wednesday. Uh, I have a Marino kindergarten grade school reunion with all of my classmates back then who are still my dearest friends. We went to Marino school. I went to Marino school, and there were the Hawaiians in the school were the biggest families. We had the smallest family. We had 7 kids in our family. The Quins, the Kalaukoas, the Dunaways, the Raposas, everybody had 8, 9, 10, 11 kids.
Wow.
Before there was Pac 5, there was the Big Five at Marino School. And so Marino School had all of these Hawaiian families. And one tidbit story, which is really interesting, I was just sharing this the other day, was back then we never had new clothes because we couldn't afford buying brand new clothes. So the families, the mothers, every year they would get together all those clothes, they would bundle it up, put it in laundry bags or baskets, and then one weekend they would all switch clothes. So all the families, everybody would rotate. So you got a new set of clothes, which was used clothes before Goodwill. And we thought that was like God's gift to the world. Like, oh my God, look, I got brand new clothes that, you know. So that was how we did it when we were kids. And I laughed because some of those clothes I used at Kamehameha school. I looked at some of those Aloha shirts was hilarious, but that was Marino School. So coming on
That was
Wednesday. Look forward to seeing everybody on Friday and then
that was
Saturday.
the one of the benefits of being a boarder too, is we shared wardrobes, so everybody appeared to have ukupau clothes.
Speaking of which, I'm glad you said that. Borders. Let's talk about borders. Um, my sophomore year, um, I got to meet your dad, and I got involved with doing the homecoming activity. And your dad and I worked on, and I can't remember the Japanese guy who worked with your dad. Do you remember his name?
Dan Wan from
Dan Wan.
Nanakuli.
Yes, that's right. That guy was unbelievable. Was it because of you that we brought your dad into the project and all that? How did that happen?
Yeah, because he had built multiple floats, but his deal was, rather than it be towed, he gave it its own power source. They took a bug frame and then build a float around that, so the float was self-powered. And he and my uncle had worked out a lot of the kinks, so they were like not old hat, but at least they had less challenges than
Well,
because
that bug was hilarious because it was the base, and they had those platforms in each corner, and so we could just pick up the frame, move it over, and plunk it right onto the bug, and then screw it on, and boom, you're off and running. So I remember our first year, we did the red and yellow helmet, the mahi ole, which is kind of the symbol of that. So for 3 years in a row, I don't know if you recall, we won first place every year during the homecoming. For whatever, I cannot remember what our junior year was.
one year we had a breaking wave with a
See,
canoe.
senior year.
Okay.
Okay, here's a question for all of you out there. Who were the 2 paddlers in the canoe senior year? There were 3 people in the canoe. two paddlers and one sweetheart girl in the canoe. Should we answer it now or leave it? We'll leave it in the comments below. Do
And
you
then
guys remember
maybe when
who?
I post you, we can
Okay, here's the question for
reveal.
everybody listening. Who were the three people our senior year in the canoe? Kermit was right. It was a your dad and I, we came up with that idea, but he's because we were trying to figure we gotta balance this wave, right? Because we got this big wave, and then we gotta get the canoe coming on the inside and make it stable enough so three people can sit in there. So we got the three smallest people in the canoe. So that's a hint right there. They weren't necessarily small, but I don't think this would have worked if we got Sean Holt or Keith Height in the canoe, and it was only a small, short three-man canoe. But we won our senior year. But the funny thing about that was about half an hour before homecoming, it starts raining. And I'm going, oh my God, this is going to look ugly because it starts raining on the canoe because we had, the paper mache and all of that. But the miracle of all that was that because it rained, it actually blended the colors between the ocean and the canoe and all that. So it looked like it was really on the ocean by the time the canoes went, the floats went into the stadium. And that was the year. I can't even remember who the homecoming king and queen were. I think I know who it was, but do you guys remember who the homecoming king and queen were our senior year? Kermit, any ideas? I think I know who it is. I'm not going to say it here, but I got to go research it. To make sure I'm correct. But that year we were playing Iolani, and that was the infamous last minute win when Aaron Lorenzo caught that. I believe it was a pass. Jeff Noah, you got to check me. Uh,
Yeah,
Aaron
they
Lorenzo
called
caught
it the what do they refer to it as? The immaculate reception.
reception. That was a catch. Um, which then sent us to the state, and we played Leilahua, and we were losing with about 2 minutes left, I think. And then I think Radford Park, no, I think Blaine Geisen faked Radford Park into the line. Everybody bit, and then I think Blaine Geisen ran it in for the touchdown, and we won states our senior year. So just bringing back some memories, good fun memories. Well, we played Iolani for our senior year homecoming, and I remember putting that together because I knew they were going to come out with all the 1975 nice cars from Iolani. So I ended up, I figured that's their personality, right? So I ended up calling the Model A Club of Hawaii, and I called the guy and I said, "Have you guys ever been in a parade before?" He goes, "No." I says, "Do you folks have those kind of cars?" I go, "Aruja, Aruja." He goes, "We do." I says, "How many do you have?" He says, "How many do you want?" I said, "You want to be in our parade, right?" He says, "Yes." They brought all those cars, the Model A of Hawaii. They had those jump seats. Remember those jump seats? So that you could see the people in the car. So I called Iolani. I said, "You guys can go in first. You guys go in first." So they went in ahead of us. You couldn't see anybody in their nice cars and all that. And then as soon as when they were done, we came in with our, jalopies. And I swear to God, it was hilarious watching everybody. People were crying actually in the audience because they had never seen these cars before, going cluck, 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 cluck around the stadium. And I think the whole stadium stood up and clapped because they were just tickled by our presentation. So that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to what are we down to countdown? 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, 4 weeks.
The fourth would put us at about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, I guess.
So we're at the what is today? 13th. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Might have to
So
actually start packing my stuff.
are you staying on campus?
Yeah,
You are? Yeah.
but
I'm
I just saw that thing this morning where they're trying to get a head count for bus transportation at Natsunoya's.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Oh no, no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, so they're gonna transport by bus either back to Ala Moana or to the dorms. But
Hmm.
they said they're gonna close up the gate on campus at 10. So I think I'm gonna stay off campus Friday night. I don't want to
Yeah,
be stuck up
yeah.
there and
I think this is the first year I'm not going to be on campus, only because they have these new restrictions and all that. Because I wanted to go listen to Hawaiian music afterwards. I wanted to go visit some other friends of mine who are playing music that week, Friday and Saturday. So because of all these new restrictions, and I'll be staying up in Papakolea at the homestead up there. So I'm looking forward to it, seeing everybody and having a good time. And it sounds like the Natsunoya is going to be a killer time. But I know, heads up, I saw Dwayne Owl's thing, which he's donating that ukulele. So
oh
that
yeah.
that's going to be a big prize. I know that him and Huolani guys, Nancy Nam, that whole the Ya girls with Tanya and everybody, are doing a bang up job of putting that together. So that's always the highlight of our reunion. I mean, it is. So I hope we get to see everybody there, and don't hesitate. I think now is the time to step up and be there. And let's make it a, a bang up year. And then, just want to mention, of course, this T-shirt thing. We're gonna make it available. We're only selling long sleeves, short sleeves, and then the baseball cap. It'll have that logo. And then we'll put it out there. And then, if you want your shirt by the reunion, I think the deadline is like May 26th, 7th, 8th, or something like that. But you can order before then, and they'll ship it to you. But you're a 2X, yeah?
Yeah.
2X. 2X short sleeve Kermit. Got it.
Is there a chance then we can get an email that order link emailed or
Yes, yes. Well, the order page is what I'm going to put on the Facebook page here.
okay.
And then if everybody can just pass it on to anybody else who wants to get it. If it's our classmates, great. If it's the alumni, they're more than welcome. We're going to keep the ordering on till after the reunion. So if you miss it, you can still order it after the reunion. But if you want to wear it before the reunion, you got to get your order in by the last week of May.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, brother, it's been great, man. I appreciate you joining in with me for this to help people get a little bit excited about June. Like you say, the more the merrier, because who knows when or who we're gonna see in after this.
We I think we thought all these people would be with us all these years. And when I used to see Charles come up all the time when he used to come up with to Oregon with Hapa, because he performed with them. And gosh, 2011, what a year. We lost him in 2011. And then we've lost so many wonderful classmates throughout the years. And I think Deborah Estabillo just recently. Yeah.
And
So,
today happens to be Zell Kuahine's earthly birthday. So
oh, okay, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, and
but
then you've been
but
really,
she left us. So
yeah, and you've been really good about lifting up everybody's birthdays and all that, which is kind of cool.
well,
So
because who remembers unless they were like your bosom buddy? Who remembers anybody's birthday? I just remember Mark Furtado because he and I have the same birthday. So and yeah, I believe he's in Vegas. I talked to him a couple weeks ago, but he wasn't willing to do the podcast, but at least I caught up on a little bit of information on him. So
Mark was there when we went there Vegas one year, and he played golf with Jeff and I, and Pat Kekua and Brian Cornea.
Wow.
Jesus Christ, Mark, relax, because he thought he was like, PGA Tour. The way he was playing, like, God, it's only us. Just take it easy, buddy. I mean, he was like, he was playing by the book, like really, like, oh, Mark was pretty funny. His mom, who wore a ton of makeup, she would always be, when grade school, she was always with us cheering in the audience and all that. And, later on, all of us, I heard you mention Jay Sorrell's name too, I think, on one of the podcasts.
Yeah, because surprisingly, we had a lot of um I don't know what the official term is, Latter-day Saints
Yeah.
or in our class. It's been amazing. I don't know if I just randomly hit on the majority of them, but there's been a lot, and so his name came up because he was part of that circle. So
Oh, yeah.
I would
Who
love to run into him and talk to
who
Jay.
who was telling that story?
I think
Was
Jeff
that Jeff?
Noah.
Yeah, Jeff. No, that was a connection we had always because Doug, Pokey, James, Kahale, Mira, all of us came up from grade school. We all go through high school. Senior year, Dale Noble comes to all of us, Doug Panee, Jerry Ahui, all of us, Tommy Cam, and he literally blanket asked all of us if we could switch from band to go to concert lead. Why? Because they didn't have any first tenors or second tenors. And that was the all of us sang first and second tenor. And we were like, oh, but concert lead, you guys got to audition. He says, no audition. We just need the voices. So I was like, we all kind of looked at each other like, do we give up band after going from fifth grade all the way through high school, all those years for concert glee? We all voted no. So we all stayed in band. So Jerry Ahui, Doug Panee, Tommy Cam, and I, we wanted to finish. So we all got our leather. We got our leather jackets back then. Actually, the leather jacket, the band jackets was better looking than the athletic. They had sweaters back then. So, but I lost my
Yeah,
Letterman's jacket for band.
right on. Well, brother, enjoy the rest of your day. I appreciate it again, and we'll see you in June.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you, Kermit. Thank you for all that you do. We love you, and we'll see everybody. Ahui
Hui
ho.
ho.